It's now Thursday and we're on our way to see Monet's garden. And it's very misty and it's going to probably rain throughout the day. But one of the things with the river boats is that you park side by side. Here's one. It's a Viking. This is us. And that's another one. I think it's a Grand Circle. Anyway, we walk across it to get down to the outside Impressionist Museum, which is outside his studio. And this garden is all white flowers. It's the last day for the museum, by the way, for the water garden, which is the second one that he had, and this was created 10 years after he took over the
This
house.
property became a museum, but at Monet's time it was very easy to cross here because it was a simple path, no danger. So we are under this place. I suggest to turn here to see some details, to imagine where Monet was to put his easel to capture the light. So Monet arrived here. He had bought it. First he rented this place. Monet was not rich when he arrived at the age of 42. You can arrive then close to the map. So Monet had bought later this area. He enlarged the house. You will see the first studio created in a shed here. You will enter. It's very nice. So this is the second studio created, and we pass close to this studio on this line, the garage. He created also greenhouses. So 10 years after, he decided to create a new place to plant the famous water lilies. So he had bought a simple meadow crossed by an arm of the river Epte, E-P-T-E. And after he received the agreement of the local authorities, he dug the pond and filled it with the water. It's important for the flowers because they grow in a running water, not in a stagnant one, and the water returns in the river at the other side. So this is Monet's influence. When Monet started to paint this place, it became his main source of inspiration. He painted here in this garden almost 300 paintings. It's like an obsession. Some are very big, the king-size paintings, panoramas, and it's why he created another studio. Today it's the gift shop, the way to live. The two flags are there. You will enter in this place because today is the gift shop. Sorry, but take the time to see the real size of this place. So we are going to see the water garden, the flowers garden, the house, and then the exit, outside the exit to the left until La Capucine Cafe here. Nothing is far, but
We're still in the water garden on the other side of the road from where his studio is. Monet's water garden. On the other side of the road in the flower garden.
it's good for you, for her hair.
Amaranths.
And so little by little, Monet replaced the old apple trees because it was an orchard when Monet arrived there. And he replaced the old trees by ornamental trees, cherry, Japanese cherry tree, plum tree, catherine.
You raise
Turn around, you
chickens here.
thing. His face is
Also in
amazing.
the garden.
Turn around.
It's Monet's house. He combined two houses together. It's a narrow house. Now we're inside the house, and we see some trees. Very small rooms in the other rooms. These are reproductions of this painting. This is the first studio. (1883) is when he created this. This is the bedroom at one end of the house. This is another bedroom. Lots of Japanese prints. There's the bridge we saw. It's the bedroom. And this is the third bedroom. Now we're going back down to the first floor. We started in the blue room. Now we're in the dining room, which is all yellow. And here's a picture of him at this table. And from the yellow dining room, we're going into the blue tiled kitchen. All the pots. I guess that's the kitchen table. And there's the stove. This is his studio, which is now the gift shop. So we'll see lots of things for. This is called Merchandising Monet. There are pictures around the walls
They always do.
of his water lilies and other scenes. And there's plenty of light in here. But there are also plenty of t-shirts and books and reproductions. Look, this one is on sale. Going down the road to meet some locals for an aperitif, I guess a cider and some kind of pastry. It's raining now, so Monet umbrellas are sort of now I guess. On my way for the 10-minute walk each way to see Claude Monet's grave. And we have some soldiers here at the gardens that have opened for the museum, which we briefly saw from the outside earlier. This is the Impressionist Museum. I don't have time to go in there. This is not Claude Monet's buildings, but I guess there's a few Monets inside. Here I am at the church. It's only a couple minutes walk. This is the cemetery here, which has people who died between 1907, 1908. There's 1996. Multiple families here. And Monet is down below. I was told this is the Monet family plot. We go in here, we can see Claude Monet from 1940 or 1840 to 1926. And here's his son Michael. We're inside the church. Interesting enclosed organ, which I assume can be played. second ship in. So I have to go across the Grand Circle one and then into ours. And then beyond there, you can see Viking Grand Circle. Now we're on the top deck of ours, which matches the top deck of the Viking. They have to come across our ship to get to theirs, and that's what the captain sits in. And the Viking cruise ship, which was right next to us, is pulling out. This is us in the middle. This is the Vantage, and this is the Grand Circle. So all three go together. And I'm on my way across the bridge to go see the old mill, very famous for Monet's paintings. I'm in Vernon, France, which is right near Giverny, Monet's thing. And what do I find? But Barney's Grooves. This is the old mill. There was a mill at one point on the edge of the bridge. It comes from 1654, but it was damaged multiple times. And in the 1930s, it was sold to an American. 1980s, it was sort of restored. And it sits next to the Chateau de Torres, which we're going to go see in a couple of minutes, which was a fortress designed to protect the entrance to the medieval bridge. Barney's Grooves. This is Barney.
Hey, hi.
Hi, the store's been open for just about a year. And we've got Louis Armstrong, pronounced Louis Armstrong, not Louis Armstrong. Yeah. Got Frank Zappa playing on the speakers. Little Diana Ross over there. Queen 45s. He doesn't have any, well, he has some 78s. There's some 78s up here. I think they're more for decoration than anything else. Yeah. Here's the fortress. And here's the mill. And here's the inside of this small church, which is across the bridge. Nothing fancy, nobody here. Looks like it's from about 18. Okay, now I'm back across the bridge and in the town of Vernon. I think that was the suburb. This is interesting decorations. This is the street. I'm off to find the church, which you just saw in the last picture, I think. It's called Notre Dame. Let's get the turn left and head towards the church. Definitely an old town. And just across the street, this must be the city hall, is from what I can gather. I'll have to research it a little bit more. This odd building is actually the Halloween, and the kids are coming to this bar pastry shop in their costumes to get Halloween candy. Sure, what these guys are doing at City Hall, but they're using some kind of torches to clean the cement. What these men were doing, they're now across the street from the church, basically doing the same thing. He lights it, and he's doing something. I'm not sure what. There they come. Did well. I like the teeth. This charcuterie must have won this major award. Get that for Kill Saint-Jacques. Where is the chocolatier? I mean, each of these pieces is fabulous. And on the other side, pastries. Walked about 5 blocks. So far I've passed at least 10 patisseries and 4 or 5 boulangeries. And there's a Monoprix, which is, I think, a small department store, grocery kind of store. A whole bunch of pharmacies. This is like a town square, but there aren't a lot of chairs out except for cafes. But it's 10 minutes of 4. It's getting a little bit dark now. But the weather has not been great. But it's not raining. Another charcuterie. They won the best in 1989, the World Cup of something. So apparently there's a lot of competition around here for these old houses leading down to the Seine in Vernon.
Si c'est les mêmes que j'ai à la crème. Ouais. C'est des crayons. Ouais.
Yeah.
Enfin, si elle utilise les crayons là dans le fond, oui, bah c'est
This is the back of the City Hall, or the Hotel de Ville.